Hello and welcome to another episode of Andy's Chomping at the Bit, brought to you by Big Andy Media, the official sponsor of every Andy's Chomping at the Bit Friday episode. So, today I am going to be talking about embracing the present, or the journey, however you want to look at it. Because this is one that I have gotten pretty good at, but I still struggle with. Like everything, there's always room for growth. Um, I think the reason I embrace this one a lot is because I've struggled with anxiety over the years, um, getting caught in that whole world of what if. Uh, so this is one of those things that by focusing on the present, and it takes a lot of self awareness too for this, but when I find my mind racing in either direction, the past or the future, to step back a little bit and just really put things in perspective, focus on the now. What can I control? That's one aspect of it. Um, but I also want to cover this as, because I said embracing, not just living, and so embracing, um, enjoying the present. So not just getting that anxiety out of the way, but actually changing the view of the present, not just as in the task side of it, what you can control and stuff like that, but literally enjoying the present, enjoying the journey, even if instead of looking at the finish line, instead of looking at, okay, when I get this, then I can do this, enjoy working to get this. You don't have to be there to enjoy something. Happiness is not a destination. Happiness is the journey. I did not come up with that quote. I believe it was actually a Buddhist quote well before I ever heard it. But it's a powerful, powerful quote. Think about that. Happiness is not the destination, it is the journey. So basically, if you're working towards something and you say, okay, well, when I get here, I'll be happy, um, you're never going to get to happiness. I can say from personal experience that if you're not happy with nothing, you're not going to be happy with anything. You can have everything and you're still not going to be happy. Um, that was actually a big fueling point of my addiction, and some of my darkest points. So let's say college. I thought, okay, once I graduate, get a good job, I'll be happy. Graduated, didn't get the good job right off the bat. But simply graduating didn't make me happy. I traveled, thought maybe if I got out and went around the world, I'd enjoy everything, by having these experiences. Well, nope, still, I mean, I was happy, but not, I enjoyed those moments, but deep down, I wasn't really happy. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't content. I was always looking for what's next. I was always looking for what to do, what I needed before I could be happy. So then there was a point where I'm like, okay, well, I need to be in a relationship. I need to fall in love, and then I'll be happy. And I went on to several dates, and I'd been with some people, and you know, even someone else couldn't fill that void. Someone else couldn't make me feel happy. They could bring me plenty of joy and other pleasant things. Uh, but getting those things, having all kinds of electrical gadgets, all kinds of stuff like that, they were great to have. Even when I was able to actually get ahead financially and then have money saved up, I wasn't happy. On paper, I was happy. People saw happy. I wore one hell of a mask. Um, but I wasn't. I was trying to find happiness in everything. I know this kind of goes into a happiness topic, but it's relevant for the sake that I thought I needed to get somewhere to get happiness. I was looking into the future to find happiness when really happiness was right in front of me if I was just willing to look, accept it instead of having to have something else, having to have the next thing. You know, um, I'm I'm fortunate for hitting those rough patches in my past because it really helped me to find um, that happiness. I got a new perspective on things, so to speak, a new appreciation. Hitting hard on the ground, it made me have to work on myself. It made me have to reflect, and find these things that I could do, to improve my life now. Um, because when I first started working on myself, I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. I was kind of, I was not kind of, I was very ashamed of what I was looking at, and a lot of negative thoughts going through my head at that time. Um, Part of that was, lack of growth. I didn't really understand where I was. I didn't know who I was, um, but I was always looking ahead or behind. I never took the time to just grow that. I think that really started to change. I mean, it started to change this last time I was in treatment back in uh, late September through early November of 2022. Uh, I started to get that change of embracing the now, but I don't think it really set in until probably around late March, early April of 2023. And in that moment, I was actually incarcerated. I was uh, sitting in Ottawa County Jail, um, and I was taking a cognitive behavioral therapy course. It was called Thinking for a Change. It was a very good one through um, Ottawa County CMH, and and I had already gone over this stuff in treatment, so it was a great chance for me to refresh on it, and then in a much more toxic environment. Um, but surprisingly, somehow through that, I I stopped holding my head down as much over being incarcerated, over the mistakes I had made. Um, I started looking at life in the sense of I've done the right thing now. I'm doing the right thing. I'm making mistakes still every now and then, but I'm consciously working to better myself. So I was proud of the direction I was heading. So uh, with that said, um, it helped me make it through those rough points, and I was able to find the positives in dark moments. Uh, I I started enjoying simple things like waking up, um, getting to stretch, and you know get around, getting to talk to friends, family. When I got out, I got to enjoy more things like getting to spend time with my dog Sophie, going to meetings, getting to interact with other people. The things that stepping outside, feeling the sun, things that people don't, they often take for granted. This lines up with gratitude a lot too. But part of having gratitude is enjoying what you have right now in the moment, the present. Um, and so I can get frustrated at parts of the journey if I want. That's a choice, though. Um, I can look at the past, look how far I've come. I feel great for that. And like I said, a lot of it's attitude, a lot of it's choice, how you choose to view it. Um, I view it as there's a lot of opportunity. The more I grow, the more opportunities to grow come about. That bar is continuously growing, which is amazing. It's a great can't say opportunity so many times, uh, but it adds a lot of exciting directions for the adventure, and I can get caught looking in the future on that in a positive sense too. But instead, just stepping back and enjoying where I am now, enjoying doing things I can control, and watching things play out, the good and the bad. Sometimes things don't go my way. There was one point where I had gotten a job and had it rescinded because of something from my past. A lot of people would get down in that situation. I briefly did. Um, but I also was able to see that, that was a learning point for me. And I got the positive of it that I was offered a position and it was rescinded from the past, not based on who I was at that time. So that speaks volumes. That's part of the training, and that's also what I love about um, this path with Big Andy Media. I decided to create a media production company with zero business knowledge. My biggest struggle back when I was a singer songwriter was the business side of music. It was my number one cop out for why it didn't work out. That's actually not why it didn't work out. It really didn't work out because I was so busy planning for failure that I never took the chance to try to succeed. That's the honest truth behind it. I let fear paralyze my opportunity. But regardless of that, I decided to take this challenge again, not knowing business. But this time, instead of being afraid of failing, I'm enjoying learning from the failing, if that makes sense. I fall on my face a lot with this whole thing. I come up with ideas and start pursuing them only to find out that they're a little late on the opportunity scale. I was going to be writing and creating custom ringtones, and then I realized everyone has free ringtones today, and a lot of people just put their phone on vibrate nowadays because the ringtones aren't quite as popular as they used to be. It's still something I can do, but it's not quite where it used to be. And then I've come up with, now I have songrams through Big Andy Media, which I still love those. But people do have the option now of AI, doing some of that stuff. I like to see songrams by a person more like you compare jewelry. You know, the concept is great on the gift of a song regardless. But you can propose to someone with a ring from a Cracker Jack box and the thought's still there. But you really show you care when you go a little extra and have the real thing. So that's kind of how I had to rebrand it in my head and now publicly um, for that side of things. But it's a trial and error, and that's one of those things I had to learn. I can't just simply compete at the same price as certain things like AI. But what I can do is ask a little more for my service and put it in perspective in a way that's realistic and makes sense. So uh, it's part of the growth, and it's a fun part of the growth. I mean, looking back, this is a what if that I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not possible to happen, and I'm okay with that. What if I had succeeded in that music journey the first time around? If somehow I had made that big, huge, instant success, would I have been able to handle that success? Would I have had the ability to humbly um, conduct myself? Would I have the self-esteem to manage that situation, or would I have been bossed around without giving myself any opportunity for being respected? There's a lot of unknown questions in that scenario. Fortunately, I don't have to dread on those too much because it never happened. But it gives you it gives me an appreciation of my circumstance. It's easy to look back at the past and be like, oh, we could have changed this, could have changed that. But if you change those things, you don't learn the lessons after that. And I learned a lot of lessons, really, even since just my clean time. But if you include if you include the dark periods, um, which would be going back to 2017, really. Well, actually, it can go back a little further than that, even. Um, it was just much more covered with a mask. But I learned a lot through those times. They were very painful often, but I learned. So I can always look at that as time wasted, and a lot of people do. But I've learned some very painful and very valuable lessons through that duration as well. So I don't see it as a complete waste of time. And again, some experiences that some actually were positive. Not everything was negative. So, I met some good people, even within the midst of bad. It's kind of how the world balances out, I guess. But the journey, focusing on the journey and enjoying the journey now, has brought me more contentment, not complacency, but contentment and satisfactory than any dollar sign ever could in the future, any possession, any person, place, thing, idea, I guess, even to an extent. There's no noun that exists in the future, or present for the matter, that could compensate or could be greater than the current, focusing on the current, focusing on what I have now. I'm happy right now. I can have all these other things in life, and the happiness will be the same. I could have nothing. Happiness will be the same. Obviously, there's certain aspects like loving relationship. You have the opportunity to share the happiness on an intimate level. You have, with money, you have the opportunity to do more things that may bring you joy. But the happiness isn't really affected by those. They shouldn't be. I mean, they shouldn't be affected by those, in my personal opinion and current experience. I I've been given a lot of opportunities in life. I've blown a lot of those opportunities. I've learned from a lot of those opportunities, and I continue to be getting opportunities. Coming up here this coming week, I'm not going to talk too much about it because nothing is set in stone, and I don't want to really overthink a situation. But I have a big, big opportunity coming up as far as additional employment, and it deals with mental health sector and the recovery community. So I'm excited for the opportunity. I think it will go great, not just as an additional career, not just as additional stable income, but also it'll allow me to help make a difference with people at that situation, that employment. If I get it, it will help me gain understanding. It'll help me even within this podcast, in the sake that, because you still can't share other people's information, but it will help me understand me better, and it'll give me a broader understanding of topics. So some of these topics I'll do over in that situation, just because I'll have a much different understanding than when I first recorded. So that'll be fun as well. But I'm going to wrap it up here. That is today's Andy's Chomping at the Bit episode. I appreciate you for tuning in. Sunday, we're going to have through Big Andy Media, another Singing for a Cause performance. So I'm not sure where I'm going to do that 100% yet. I know it's not going to be live this time until I get a better venue. So there's two options. One could be here in the Bat Cave minus the bats in the heroic billionaire. Or I might make the trek tomorrow back to my parents' place in Ludington and probably drag the keyboard along and play there. Maybe I'll do an outdoor performance. Technically, I could do an outdoor performance here, but I want to make sure neighbors are cool with that first. So, yeah, it'll be a performance nonetheless, and it will be airing on Sunday. I don't have a set time yet. Hopefully, I will some point tomorrow. Otherwise, stay tuned. It will be posted, and I'll share it on Big Andy Media as well as the Andy Schiffer Music Band page, and I'll share it here too because it's good to get the word out as best we can. So, um, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys again Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, or next Friday. Take care.